Hey guys, a bit more sharing. Yeah, felt like a bit more sharing because when I share, things just pop up from the source within, and we are a day further. And could it be that we are waking ourselves up to the giants that we are? You know, and could it be that we are the game makers? Yeah, I've talked about it before, but when I talked yesterday, I came across the layers, within a program. We're all programmed here. Everything's a program. We're all programmed. We all have our unique programs. We also have programs that overlap each other, which you can call a soul group. And, or, we all think we are, certain group of Pleiadians or Cassiopeians or, Andromeda. And, but it's just an overlapping program. So we all have these programs, and the first layer is activated by a trauma, within the shadow. And then it takes a while, of course. First, all the programs are being activated in the first layer through a trauma. And then, the longer we are in the game, we start going deeper into a program, and they have certain layers. One has 3 layers, the other has 23 layers, and I always kept a diary. So my hardest program was the reptilian program. um, I like to refer to as the Hopi program, and that had to do with shapeshifters and necks being placed into my body and just my head exploding and being this huge reptilian dragon with scales and being in a dark space with them. And and the fear was activated. I was very fearful of everything that had to do with reptilians and the darkness and the ooh. so mm, where was I going with that? Well, I started my interest, was woke up. That was the first. I had the first activation when I was a child. When I had energetic rape because of through a reptilian um, being, and later on a reptilian being raped me again when I was 7 years old, but in human, in human disguise. And again, it was so so there were the layers, the layers, the layers, the layers, the layers. And you go deeper, you go deeper, you go deeper. And then I had when I was in Greek, when I was 20, I had 3 times a rape within 1 year. And reptilians, 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 but unconscious, not seeing them as reptilians. But when the you go, so you have that activation within trauma and for a very long time, and then you have the magnetizing phase of the program. Then it fully opens, and then you can start weaving the layers back to the demagnetizing nothingness within yourself, the source 0 point. And those layers all have their own stories, but it's programmed, so you have programmed stories, and you go deeper and deeper and deeper. And the interest starts as soon as it's magnetized. You start, you're being interested. You're like, what the fuck, what are they, and what's happening here? And so you start doing research, and you're pulsating and pulsating your source power because you don't love yourself yet. You're full of self-doubt, and you can not believe that you are that powerful, that you are a magician and an alchemist, and that it's because of the source within you and the others, of course, this game exists, this dream, this holographic illusion. And so the layers I was talking about yesterday, to me, they all hold stories, past lives. I had, during that deprogramming of that program, magnetizing it, weaving it to the nothingness, I had those past lives, lots and lots of past lives that had to do with also rape and, torture and stuff like that. And I started doing research and research and research and research, and I was like, oh my God. And yeah, and I believe that we are in a prison and that it's ruled by the reptilians and the nags, and oh, and it's a fixed ending. There is a fixed ending, and oh, and we're going towards the end of the reset, and oh my God, and and I was scared of them, and oh, we're looping, we're looping, we're looping. Oh man, this is reset number, I don't know. Um, and it's happening for so many, 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 many eons. And I'm stuck here. So, and with me, many, 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 many others with an overlapping program, just playing a slightly different role within the game, but having the overlapping interest. So all those source beings within that game with the overlapping program, start to believe. And there's a seed within the program, but there's also a seed outside, in the game, waiting for us to grab and to give our pulsation to. So we start believing, and we start giving it form, because that's how powerful we are. And it becomes real, it becomes a story, and because we start sharing and talking about it, and giving, how you call it, um, talk to groups, and we get lots and lots of viewers on YouTube, for example, or on BitChute or on Rumble, or and the ones with the overlapping program are all like, yeah, 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 pulsating, pulsating, pulsating. So it becomes real. And we believe it has a fixed ending. Yeah, because somebody wrote about it and said that this would happen 100 years ago. You know. Yeah, really? Really? 100 years ago? Were you there 100 years ago? Could it be that it's just programmed into the program, and inside your seed within the program and the seed outside? That someone was programmed to find that certain text within that book, and that was written at some point, and and talk about it, and so it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and the belief of the ones that are pulsating towards that story, make sure that it takes on form within the game. So could it be that the X metaverse and the whole Jap event, you know, I know people who talked about it, they are talking about it. This the last event that started in 2020, 21 with the jabs. They talked about it like 25 years ago. They already talked about it. So there was already, a group that were pulsating towards that, because they found the seed outside themselves that was planted there, of course. So it took on form, and eventually so many believed it, and it had enough pulsation to become a reality. And bloop, and there it was. Yeah, yeah. So is it truly evil The nags, the reptilians, are they creating that, and have they created a fixed ending? And are the ones that that are so powerful? And when I was in fear going through that program, and I thought they were that powerful. But once, I, you could say, was sealing the last layer and demagnetized it fully, I met um, a reptilian in court. I talked about it. So it appeared on my screen. And for one last time, just to show me, just to show me that I am powerful, just as powerful as the reptilian sitting in front of me, because I understand the game and I play with it. The reptilian is also a reflection. So dark is the same as light in this game, with all the galactic layers and blah blah blah. It's all programmed, programmed, programmed. Every form has coding behind it. Behind the coding is nothing. That's how I experience it now. So to me, everything is nothing. And it can only exist because we pulsate and we believe and we keep doing our research. We cannot help ourselves because we are programmed and we have to go through those layers, with their own stories. And of course, we all have overlapping programs and we also have an overlapping collective program that makes us believe that we are in a prison with a constant reset, 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 and a fixed ending. And we have to fear the reptilians and the nags. And they are so dangerous and they're gonna rape and they're gonna. And then you have the giants and yeah. But we are giants. But we are in this miniature game that exists only because we, from our own source electromagnetic spark, pulsate towards something, the seed outside. And that is why it exists. And we see it. And the fun of the game is we start in a coma. We are just, that's part of the game. So, it's, in essence, there is no darkness or light. It's just something we created. Yeah. Well, I talk about it later. Because I have a visitor now. Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, could it be that we are the creators of this game? You know. Yeah. I talk about it later. There is someone in front of the door. Bye for now. So, visitor is gone. And where was I? In essence, there is no darkness or light. Yeah. The seed within and the seed without. And it's all programmed. So the reflection we see, in my case, I because of the programs, I was programmed to see um, through the program of Nessus, give form to the darkness. and through the manipulation, give birth to the darkness in different forms. And for me, it was mostly the reptilians, well, and a lot of different shadow beings that took on form and energetically, you know, and in the physical later on. But it's merely a reflection, you know. It's they seem very powerful, but it's just embrace the shadow within yourself and realize that you are that powerful. Yeah, you know. Yeah, it's all about believe, believe, believe. And also with my father was visiting, and he had many, 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 many jabs, and I saw the change within him, and because also that's part of the story, and that is out there, you know. And in the beginning, with the shedding, I also believed the shedding. Oh my God, the shedding, the shedding. Oh, and I have to keep my distance, and you know, AI can work through him, and then and I have to be very aware, and you know, stuff like that. And the same with my neighbors, and yeah, and the AI codings around the viruses. You can receive them through them, and etc. and etc. So I was also stuck in that layer within, that belief, that story. And therefore, I saw it everywhere. And I experienced it with my father also. But I finally detached myself from that story, the latest story. And that has a collective overlap. That's there's a part in us that is the collective program, and well, you can refer it to as the Akashic records, um, which is the moon pulsating back the unnatural codes. And once we start believing that, because it comes from all directions, it becomes a very big story, a collective story. So, not a personal story, but a collective story, or a soul group story, which is nothing more than a group that has an overlapping program they want into the game. And so, so, so ever since I let go of that, detach myself from that, when he's visiting, um, I just see him as getting older, and I don't feel anything. When he's here, before I would feel um, tired. You know, when he was gone, I was just exhausted and very, very tired, and I would blame it on the jab. Yeah, because of that. That frequency coming off of him and AI working through him. And yeah, so, you know, and I let go of it. I detached myself from it because I had to love about myself. I was like, yeah, but okay, so you talk about all those stories and then you decide yourself to believe in the latest story. Attach yourself to the latest story. What a fool you are. So, yeah, what a fool I have been. Yeah. Okay, but we learn from moment to moment. And just a moment of quietness. And and the same with the frequencies, the frequency war. It's 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 there because there is still a part of me that is so curious. I have been programmed to be very curious. That's a program of the Gemini. It's also a program, the astrology, of course. And if you look into the Maya program, it's also a program. And there you see it too. I'm Kaban program, and I just love to well research every star. So every spark, every light. So I'm very curious. So that's just something I cannot help myself. So I when I have to just frequencies. That's the only thing that is left for me. The codes are there, and sometimes I just cannot help myself, and I just have to tune in for a moment and just see what form you want to take on. Haha. And then I see a form. And so that is something, and then I just know it's something collectively within the latest story, and they want us to create. And in certain moments I feel, well, it's important to share because it may assist others. But you see, I'm in the Netherlands. It's a very busy, high population on a very small part of land, and everything's in place here. Their control system they want us to create, and what I said before. You know, who are the game makers? Who in the game have the power? You know, the source ones. So, who are the game makers? Yeah, and so it's all in place and blah 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 blah. And because a lot of people are dying, and yeah, but were they ever there? Weren't they just actors in the game that just had to play a role and not um, were not part of the creators, the source ones, the source beings. And I know it sounds harsh maybe, but my father is just an actor in the game, and he doesn't have the power of source. And you know, I never experienced an emotional connection with him, and that is why. It's just yeah. So when his body ends, his body is it's time to go for him. I know it sounds very harsh maybe, but I don't have that emotional connection with him. I just embraced him. Eventually, once we embrace our father, our mother, we had, difficulty with because of the behavior and the way they did, and etc. etc. Once we embrace them for what they are, the darkness, the shadow seed within them that has an overlapping with a program within us, we call it a contract to make it more scary. Oh, a contract. You cannot get rid of a contract. But as soon as you embrace it, like I did with my father, I just embraced him for what he is, you know, and that's your role in the game. And there's no the program, the overlapping, it stops. There is no power coming from him. Nothing. The only power coming from him is what I give him. with my beliefs. And I was believing, the latest scenario, the latest story we as Source ones gave our pulsation to, and it became a reality. And that's what I believe in this now moment. And I detach from it immediately again because, but yeah, so it's what I give to it. And yesterday he was here, and it was, nothing. I was not tired. There was nothing. There was just nothing. There was no frequency coming off of him or AI trying to work through him and nothing. That it was only there because I attached myself to that latest story. Yeah. Oh, 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 come. So you see how it works? Yeah. And with that unleashing of that new frequency, spider frequency, I call it because, it took on that form. And because I was curious, I couldn't help myself for a moment. And um, and it enters through feelings of unsafety, fear, and um, and it wants to create anger also. That was what I was getting, but um, only, and that goes for the children too. It can only enter, um, you know, if we let it enter. But when there are feelings of unsafety or fear within a child or within the adult, um, the field is open, so um, they can work the mind. That's what they can do. They can work on the mind, and then hoping that the images or the um, how you call it, the, the talks, the talks, the lines, the talks, they are entering into the mind of fear, and you know uh, make the child or the adult even more in fear, and they start believing it, and then they can enter even deeper, and then send another one, and that's how they do it. That's how the game works. And I keep saying they, but in the I truly believe that it's just us. At some point, we got bored and started being playful with some new codes, and see if we can build something with a physical experience. Something that we can touch each other, and yeah, and somewhere along the way, you just we got hooked onto the darkness within the game, and wanted to see how far we could go with that. But in essence, it's nothing. It's only there because of us. Yeah. Where was I going with that? Oh, yeah. And I have an example um, that came through another sister. Her daughter um, literally said to her, "Mommy, I see men in uniform taking me away from you. They want to grab me and take me away from you." And so the mother, my friend, told me about it. She was very shooked up about it, of course. And I know the child. She's been here many times, and she's 5 years old, and she has the Nessus program, definitely, and she is um, programmed to, well, like me and like many others, to um, give form to darkness, pulsated into the game. So forms and beings and scenarios, by believing, you know, what is, the seeds outside, or how I want to call it, the moon, that, brings that in. Um, so she's 5 years old, but she's very wise. But she sees, you know, like me, she sees. I choose not to anymore because, I don't want to give anything anymore. But sometimes I cannot help myself out of curiosity. But so I told her, I spoke in a message to my friend in a childish way, to explain about the game and how they do it and what you can do and as a child and see it for what it is. And I also talked about, the source pulsation they need and blah, blah, blah. And that they can only enter when there's a moment of unsafety, of fear. And then through the mind, they try to, get deeper into you. And yeah, work through the program. And in her case, Nessus, in this moment. Yeah, but the mother gave back to me that, so wonderful, that 5-year-old child, source child, immediately knew what I was talking about, and she fully understood, and worked with that. And it's very logical because they are about to move elsewhere to another country, and so the children are, of course, because of that, have moments of unsafety, and so the manipulation can work. The moon can, bring in some unnatural codes that work on that unsafety and on that fear, hoping that she starts believing it, hoping that the mother starts believing it, so they pulsate, 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 and eventually um, bring it into a form of reality onto their screen. But if we don't give our pulsation to it, it stays calm on our screen. So there is this collective story, but only if we are attached to the collective story. And I still was, still was in certain layers attached. I just realized yesterday. Yeah, it was so funny. But keep laughing at yourself. So, yeah. And the moment you see and you detach, you demagnetize it. It's not there anymore. It's not there anymore. So you could say that, of course, there is a collective, but eventually it's just you and your screen. And when you're with children, like my friend, she has 2 children, there's this triangle. There are 3 screens, you know. I'm alone with my dogs, so it's very much my screen. Yeah. So I guess that's it. Yeah, I guess that's it. Mm. Tomorrow her stitches go out finally. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, yeah, Oh yeah, and about well, if you want to have a conversation with me, you know, go to my website, let me know through the contact form, or just place it in the comment below, and we have a Skype conversation that I'm gonna share. Yeah, because it can assist others. Yeah, but we're gonna talk about, just the layers within you, or just about your own source journey. You know, you're weaving everything back to your original source, your nothingness, or whatever. We'll see. We have a connection, and we'll see. You know, we don't plan things. Well, enough for now. I guess all has been said, and it's been very talking about, whatever comes through, popping up through my source. So I needed that. I hope it also helped you, and it helped me a great deal, because the video before, you know, made me realize there was still an attachment. Yeah, yeah. Well, that's it for now. Much love from me to you. Bye.